Well, first of all, Happy New Year. This is January, although I don't know how everyone else feels, but it feels like the festive season was like a year ago already. January and September have the tendency to be like that, I suppose. I'm not sure if that's just for us, but yeah, hang in there. It's already almost the end of January. This is the January edition of the Backstage Community Session. Welcome back, everyone. Happy New Year, wherever you are in the world. And let's get down to business. What do we have today? Um, we just shipped 147 out of the oven last night. When I say last night, I literally mean last night. I think it was like 8 p.m. In London. So yeah, bunch of stuff in the 147, which I'm going to cover in a sec. I think it's the first time in a while where I actually needed two slides to split the content for. So a bunch of stuff went into that. I'm going to provide a small community update in there, and then touch base quickly on the BackstageCon as some of the emails and um, the schedule gets live. And then briefly we'll end with the CNCF user case study contest, and as always, Q&A. Let's see. I mentioned earlier we've had 147 out of the door last night. There's been a couple of security vulnerabilities squashed in, so please go ahead and update just to start off with that. But then there's also been a bunch of changes, and as I said, I actually needed two slides to cover this up. Some of them are breaking, so I tried to put those at the very top. We've got a couple of things in the Backstage UI, which gets more and more traction. So there's a new redesigned table API. The Backstage table and use table APIs were redesigned to account for pagination and sorting. It's a breaking change, but it unlocks more flexibility and consistent table foundation going forward. There's more information on how to do this in the actual changelog for the Backstage UI. So if you want more information, please go check that. But mind you that this is a breaking change. On the same page, we also updated the color tokens. The theme tokens got a refresh. The color tokens were aligned with a neutral surface design, and the old dash tint tokens were actually removed. It's much cleaner now, more consistent, hopefully theming across Backstage. So please make sure you update. Similarly, there's more into the changelog for this particular changes. Hold on, there we go. Now, the URL reader redirect, let me make sure I have the right order. Yes. The URL reader redirect validation also got updated here with the security improvement. The URL reader redirects must now be explicitly allow listing in the config. So we have more sort of like safer defaults and better control over external fetches, especially when you have that chain of redirects. So please make sure you, when you update, you understand the change. Because again, this has a new default in how that is processed. The AWS S3 auth for Tech Docs also got a revamp. We have Tech Docs now has a better AWS S3 auth resolution order, which hopefully reduces some misconfiguration and surprises, I suppose, when fetching those documents from S3. Moving on, we have two, I want to say they're both NFS related, well, framework related for sure. The plugin blueprints is now deprecated. If you all recall, we made the NFS in 142. I want to say Patrick Ben, was it 142? Yes, August for sure last year. We made that option ready. And ever since then, we're sort of like tightening the controls in there to make more and more defaults available and change that. This is part of that as well. The front-end app customization is being tied up, so to speak. So the plugin blueprints are now deprecated as part of a move towards more controlled and predictable app composition. So have a read about that in the front end. And on the same page, the API factory overrides are also deprecated. So the utility APIs via the API factories are being phased out. It's kind of like this sets the stage for cleaner contracts and more stable plugin boundaries when they communicate with each other. Now let's touch base a little bit on some of the awesome contributions we've had. Backend's got more control as well. In the action service, can now filter available actions via config. So it's a little bit better to have more scopes, more granular scope and control in the backend. Scaffolder also got support for GitHub Actions access levels for newly created repos. Just want to make sure I get this right. So it's obviously better security and governance by default. Thank you so much, Fred Lane, for providing this contribution. Kafka integrations also gained new options such as from beginning and auto commit, giving teams finer control over event consumption behavior. Thank you, Dominic Bartholdi, for this contribution. I hope I pronounce everyone's names right. I apologize if I don't. The home plugin UI got a little bit of love as well with some polishing around explicit save and cancel flows, which we didn't have before, making obviously the personalization a bit clearer and hopefully much less error prone, given you have now more options. Thank you, Mikko Korhonen, for that change. We also have faster GitHub org ingestion. Some performance improvements landed for the GitHub org entity provider, which obviously is one of the most popular ones. So if you're using that, your team membership fetching should be faster now in terms of syncing and ideally fewer API calls. Thank you, Rogerio Angeliski, for that. Last but not least, the link component now uses React. Sorry, I forgot halfway through. I have my own sort of like notes here. Halfway through, I forgot to change the slide. I apologize for that. The link component now uses React router for internal navigation. It's kind of like avoiding full page reloads and improving app performance. So, sorry, it was a bit of a monologue, but lots of good changes. As always, huge thanks to the team of maintainers, contributors, and obviously you all, amazing Backstage community, for the hard work to getting this release developed and done. It's the first one of the year. Let's keep them coming. Now, assuming there are no questions, or if there are, happy to take them at the end on the release itself. Just wanted to make you all aware, we also had some community updates, which is not something that I think ever since I've been with Backstage for almost 4 years now. This is probably the first time I have the chance to do this, so this is quite exciting. If you missed this, just so you know, we're excited to welcome Andre and Aramis as our new Backstage core maintainers. Obviously, they're both longtime contributors. Across the two of them, they maintain 5 project areas. They've helped shape tooling, docs, plugins, core framework, and the demo website. And also, obviously, representing Backstage at all the various events externally and working closer with CNCF. And on the same page, we're also welcoming Stefan Sarna as our Backstage project sponsor. Well, Stefan is more often behind the scenes, but his work is very valuable and significant there. So if you bump into him at KubeCon, just make sure you ask about catalog and the software ecosystem model. So before anything else, I just want to say huge thanks to all three for their continued leadership in the past few years. It's awesome to see this governance model sort of like, being refreshed. And I hope this is just, the first in a while, but the first of many in the future. And on that note, I just want to confirm, do we have actually Aramis in here? Let me see if you have Aramis here. We do have Aramis here. Hey, maybe we'll bring Andre the next one, Aramis. Just wanted to welcome you here, and I wanted to, sorry, put you on the spotlight directly. Just wanted to ask you, how was your experience of climbing the ladder from, I guess, org member and contributor to core maintainer, if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I think I've been contributing to Backstage for 3 years now, something 3.5. I started when I was back at Amazon. We were starting to adopt Backstage, and I had a couple bug fixes I wanted to get in, and then I slowly started adopting the like open API tooling space. I think I delivered a couple of like 500 plus file PRs, very, very large changes. We're slowly like marching in. And then I think that grew into a full project area. And I eventually started taking on the docs updates, trying to get the project moved more closely to like graduated from the CNCF, updating the doc site, improving our docs and whatnot. And then, yeah, I think that slowly became the core maintainer path. Just it was a slow climb, I think. It was a lot of big contributions, interesting work to pick up, and yeah, eventually became the the full goal of core maintainer.
Yeah. The good old once you touch it, now you own it kind of thing, right? And then you run with it. Thanks a lot for sharing that. Just out of curiosity, is there any sort of like, well, you kind of touched base on all my questions that I had there, but I'm curious, is there any particular advice you would give for folks that are contributing to kind of like want to deepen their involvement? Or I don't know, you mentioned something nice earlier, like slow step by step. I don't know if that's fastest way to get there. It's slow. I don't know if there's any other advice you may have that worked for you or may work for others.
I think the biggest piece I would give is like perseverance is like the main thing to focus on. Like it's not about just getting things in fast. It's about doing it right and like bringing people along with you. I think my average PR bridge time is like in the months, like 4+ months. So yeah, it's about patience. I think that's important. Like not everything can merge immediately, and like there will be about lots of conversation back and forth, but that's the important part of being part of the community.
Slow and steady wins the race, isn't it? Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Thanks for that advice. I couldn't agree more. And yeah, thanks for all the patience, all the contributions over the years, and good luck in your new role. I'm sure you'll do great in shaping our direction forward. So thank you again for everything.
Well, yeah, thank you.
Cool. Well, maybe next in February, maybe we'll bring Andre as well to close the circle here. Uh, Cool. Moving on, speaking of contributions and sort of like external events, I just want to touch base quickly on the BackstageCon, as I know I keep saying this every time. It's like it feels like 6 months and then 5 months, and then suddenly it's like, oh, it's KubeCon next month. But yeah, a bunch of us are going to be there in Amsterdam, so I hope we get to see as many of you as possible in Amsterdam. The schedule is up in there. Like I know emails are coming up with whatnot, so I just wanted to remind everyone of this bi-yearly event. This one happens in the spring in Europe and then in the fall in the US. So yeah, hope to see you there and yeah, come look for us if you're attending. And then last but not least, I did want to call out, speaking of the CNCF events, we do have there is a CNCF user case study contest that is now open. I think Andrew already mentioned this on Discord, and I think probably a lot of you already saw this, but I just wanted to use this forum as well to echo and make some noise about it. It's kind of like a great opportunity for teams to showcase a real world adoption of the CNCF technologies if you have them. So if you've got a great end user story in your teams that you want to make noise about, you want to talk about, this is definitely a great chance to kind of like take that spotlight. There's like a contest open, you submit this, and if you get approved, the prize is sort of like the 5-minute keynote on the main stage at KubeCon, which obviously provides a lot of visibility for that. So the submissions close, I believe. Ooh, do we have Alex here? Just want to make sure I'm getting this right. I think it's January 30th. So we still have like 9 days in there. And I think the announcements are in February. But yeah, if you've got a good case in there, please submit that. Cool. I'm happy to share this on Discord if people have questions or in the chat in there if people want to get the links to that. Cool. That said, that leaves us to the end of today's community session. I'll just pause if there are questions. Awesome. Thank you, Alex. Yep, confirming January 30th. Oh, deadlines and time zones, they go very well hand in hand, don't they? Thank you, Alex. All right, hold on. Is that, oh, that's admission Morse. All right, I'll wait for another minute in case somebody's furiously typing still. Question. Otherwise, happy to keep this short and sweet and give you some time back, but I'll just pause for a few more seconds in case somebody wants to raise their hand. Hold on, there's also Q&A. I can never figure out where all the controls are. Participants. There we go. All right. I don't see anything coming in. So unless if you are still typing, please raise your hand. Otherwise, I'm happy to wrap this. Just want to say again, thank you all for all your contributions and have a great rest of the day. And I'll see you in February. Thank you so much. Have a good one.